All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Gisclerc. Call me Gis for short. Out of Orlando, Florida, and I'm on here today with Leon Daniels. He's actually recent friend of mine. Pleasure to have met his acquaintance on Facebook of all places. Um, we are on the same similar group, entrepreneurship group for people, entrepreneurs, people looking to get into entrepreneurship. And we connected trying to just work together, potentially as business partners, and have kept the conversations going on entrepreneurship, on investing, stocks, and then now a lot of conversations about crypto,
Yeah,
blockchain technology.
yeah.
so
That whole thing shifted.
so it was really enjoyable conversations we've had past few months. And I just wanted to just get together, just talk a little bit about some of the things that's going on, some of the things in the blockchain space that you've been seeing. I know you have an IT background, you can bring in a different perspective
You're
than
right.
I do. And I just love to just have a conversation with you. So anything you want to say to people who are will be watching this just as an intro.
I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it. I mean, I've been hearing about crypto for years, but stayed far away from it and stayed as just a traditional investor in the
Mhm,
stock market.
mhm,
Um, but I kept noticing every now and then I would have a friend,
mhm,
you know, get in on the right coin and then disappear off the map.
mhm,
Uh, and I was like, man, there's got to be something. And then after, I think maybe a month of talking to you and stuff, and really just going back and digging into it and really paying attention,
mhm,
I just kind of made it my full time,
mhm,
study,
mhm,
and kind of, my investments in the stock market were doing what they were doing. So I was like, well, let me jump over here. And as I started to really get into the space and like study the tech behind stuff,
mhm,
uh, it changed my mind
mhm,
a lot, and there's like a lot of utility, and it really is, you know, like when I look at crypto, I look at it like the internet in 98,
mhm, mhm,
99.
mhm,
And there will be a lot of projects that fail, but
mhm,
there will be a lot of projects that succeed.
mhm.
There was Yahoo, Google, some of those succeeded out of there and some of them failed.
Yeah, the
But
MySpace is pets.com.
yeah, yeah. So I look at it the same way. It's so
Mhm,
it's just so early.
mhm,
Can't just rule out
mhm,
crypto, and a lot of people, I think, they just, because they don't understand it,
mhm.
they don't trust it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Just before we get deep into that, I just like to just get a little bit of your background, whatever you feel comfortable with sharing. What is your knowledge background, and as far as what how you got into this space and your understanding, pretty much like industry wise, and what are you into?
so I mean, I would say if we go back, I was studying blockchain just for myself,
Mhm,
because I have a supply chain
mhm,
um, degree.
mhm,
And so I was studying how blockchain can be used in supply chain.
mhm.
And for, and if you don't know me, I'm just a nerd. I just like to I like to look at stuff and I like to
Okay.
research stuff. I wasn't studying blockchain because anybody told me to or for any
Mhm,
class. I was
mhm,
just like, I wonder how it would integrate with
mhm,
supply chain. So doing some studies and come to find out that there was a lot of utility for it in the medical industry and the supply chain.
mhm.
Um, but like with anything, it needs to scale and it needs to be accepted.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even studying it for crypto purposes. I was just studying it as decentralized ledgers
Mhm.
for other purposes.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of how I got into it. It wasn't anything to do with crypto.
Okay. And that's the thing I think people miss a lot is how versatile and flexible. blockchain technology is just like you said, the pre or the early internet, in that the fact that when if somebody asked me to explain the internet and what it does and what it is capable
Mm-hmm.
of doing, I wouldn't just say it's for you to share videos, right?
Right.
I wouldn't just say it's for YouTube or it's for email. It's so much more. And a lot of times people get stuck because everything that's making the news is about crypto. Everything is
Right.
about currency and about the wealth that people are making, and then the fears of, the scams that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just totally missing like what it is and what it can do and
Mm-hmm.
what people can potentially do with it once they start to realize its functionality.
Correct.
And that's the thing that blows my mind, is as I just the same as you, I love to just research on the internet and look at these different sites that talk about these partnerships. Now, Fortune 500 companies are heavily into this space because
Mm-hmm.
it enhances what they're already doing with technology. And I think if people kind of recognize that, or look at it in that lens, is what am I doing on the internet? What am I doing with my processes? And how can I make it more efficient? I think you can find something already existing on a blockchain, or you can create something using blockchain technology that can
Correct.
answer that. And that's really mind blowing because it allows us, who we consider retail investors, to actually, in many cases, get in on that new project.
Right.
So because it could be a Fortune 500 company, they usually partner with a third party who is on the blockchain, who uses the blockchain to create a product or service that
Mm-hmm.
makes their work more efficient. And because of that, there's a coin associated with it that
Mm-hmm.
you can buy that coin, and then you can, as that project develops, you can make profits from the appreciation of that coin. And
Yeah, I think a lot of people, what really cracks me up is a lot
mhm,
of people will be like, man, no way, I'm not investing money there. But
mhm.
they invest in the stock market. It's essentially the same thing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the same thing. You're investing in a company,
Mhm,
and that you're hoping that the leadership in that company
mhm,
is making the right decisions
mhm.
and scaling
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah,
Essentially, it's the same thing that you're doing. Um, when you invest in crypto in these coins, that's how I look at it.
yeah,
But it's a little different, but
mhm,
at the surface level, that is what it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
And so, yeah, I mean, we could get granular with it, but
mhm,
it's there. People need to understand that you can lose your money in cryptos the same way you can lose your money in the stock
yeah,
market.
yeah. And that's, I have friends. You're talking about crypto a lot. Specifically in the Facebook group that we're a member of. A lot of the things that I talk about is the forex market, and the forex market is kind of what got me started into crypto, because cryptocurrency is a currency,
Right.
and currencies are traded on a foreign exchange market. So that was my doorway into that.
Hmm.
And there are a lot of people who are skeptical of forex trading, and for the same thing, they hear a lot of rumors about it. It's very speculative. And I try not to get into arguments and debates with people. I try to
Yeah.
give information, and hopefully point people in a direction where they could get information to make an informed decision. If you've never traded stocks and someone talks to you about forex, of course you're going to be like, no. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
so so
Yeah.
if so for me, it's about understanding what it is, what influences it. So
Hmm.
for the blockchain space, like you said, who are the people behind it, right? Is it a
Right.
is it a bunch of high school kids in a backyard, who in a garage, who just came up with an idea, and they're trying to learn how to code and come up with a new coin? Or is this some guys who went to MIT and had
Right.
already two or three successful companies,
Yep.
and now they're on their next project, and they already have four or five Fortune 500 companies knocking on their door to partner with them, right?
Yeah. I mean, the part of a part of wealth that people don't necessarily understand is, and we talked about this morning, is
Mhm.
who do you know? You know, who are
Mhm.
you networking with?
Mhm.
I mean, there are big players
Mhm.
in the just in the financial world
Mhm.
making moves because this partner is buying in and they trust that guy, and so they're going to buy in and
Yeah.
things of that nature. You know, another thing I find funny is like your favorite millionaire and billionaire, you know, whoever is listening, they're
Yeah.
invested in crypto. They
Yeah.
just don't talk about it because because if they don't talk about it, they don't talk about it because they don't always
Mhm.
understand it, but
Mhm.
they know there's money to be made there.
Yeah.
You know, Gary Vee, he's heavy on NFTs right now,
Mhm.
but he invested in crypto years ago or
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
But you know, I've been following Gary Vee for a few years. I've
Mhm.
never heard him talk about crypto till
Mhm.
now. You
Yeah.
know, but he invested a while ago.
And that's the thing is that that's one point in, and I see that as two things, is that you have some of the people who we consider the 1% who are slowly getting
Hmm.
into position in this space, but then you can see the financial institutions or like the Winklevoss twins who are creating services for the 1% because they know that a lot of these conservative investors, the people who are retirement age, they 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 don't know how to make heads or tails of this. So they're like, it's cool. We
Right.
got you. We got you. So
Yeah.
they the
Yeah.
the,
Let's
the
put it in simple
Scaramucci,
terms for you.
the Scaramucci's, right? He's creating his
Yeah.
and he's petitioning the government for the to create an ETF so that they can package Bitcoin and other
Hmm.
cryptocurrencies into a vehicle that the traditional investor can understand. Of course, a small fee, nothing that you're gonna miss. Just over the years,
Yeah.
it'll
Nah.
add up to millions
Yeah.
and billions.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Grayscale,
Mhm.
they're kind of like the king of
Mhm.
packaging up ETFs, crypto
Mhm.
ETFs, and selling them out on the market.
Mhm.
You know, on the traditional markets out there. So you can find, you know, I think they've got an Ethereum, they've got a Bitcoin, they've
Mhm.
got a, I forget the other ones,
I
but
think it's Litecoin they have as
yeah,
well. Mhm.
yeah, they've got them all packaged up and
Mhm.
easy for you. But if you're making money over there,
Mhm.
just imagine how much money you would be making if you cut out, you
Yep.
know, another person. That's how I see things,
and that's
you
the
know.
thing that I'm trying to do with the people that I work with is to educate the community. Is why do you need a
Hmm.
financial institution to package something to have to create a fund for you to be a middleman to a process that was
Hmm.
created for you to own it? The blockchain space, people who followed Satoshi believed in the people's money. That's what Bitcoin stands for, is the people's money. And he wanted to
Right.
give ownership and to make it decentralized. So now when you bring in the financial institutions, you throw in the SEC and the other in companies and the global financial, you know, controllers, you're taking away the whole essence of what cryptocurrency is. And at the end of the day, I don't say I'm not gonna be like some fanatic for Bitcoin. I'm just saying make an informed
Right.
decision. Don't just go to
Right.
some financial institution because, oh, I trust them. They're an established name. I don't know what
Hmm.
an Exodus wallet is, so I'm not gonna connect my money to them. Right? Do some research.
Right.
Reach out to your community and find out. Because my fear is that our people, when they finally start to heavily get into this space, are going to gravitate towards the traditional financial vehicles, which
Hmm.
have done nothing for us until recently. Now that they're
It'll
starting to
just
see our.
it'll just enrich the
Mhm.
same people.
Yep, yep,
It'll just, you know, like instead of closing the gap, it just moves the level. So yeah, you're moving up, but it's moving up too.
yeah,
So yeah, man, people, I mean, I think the biggest issue that I see with people is they're not willing to research and inform themselves.
yeah.
Um, that takes away the fear if
Yeah,
you just research and inform yourself.
yeah.
So, that'd be my suggestion. But not everybody, a lot of people are lazy. But
And that's the thing is that I say it on just about every post that I drop. One of the hashtags that I put on there is knowledge is profit. And
yeah,
before we started recording, you were talking about a little bit of your portfolio holdings and just in a short amount of time, the growth that a couple of the coins that you're holding has.
yep,
And
yep,
I posted at least 3 or 4 times about this new coin that we just found out about. Our wealth community is talking about the Ecomi coin. It just
right.
is at a penny right now, hovering at a penny. So when
Hmm.
I found out about it, it was less than a penny, and I got it at that time. And once it hits our wealth community, it goes out social
Right.
media, everything, and everybody's like, get this coin. But it's still that's just a really small fraction of the
Hmm.
community. And I've been texting people, telling people like, look, I know you're trading, I know you're busy, you may not have heard of this, but this is one of those things like next year you're gonna be kicking yourself, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, and I think, you know, what I've come to find is like people see crypto and then
Hmm.
they think rich tomorrow.
Hmm. Hmm.
Not even noticing. So like people who see Bitcoin, they see it at like somewhere between 55 and 60 today. I don't know.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
they see that, but they don't know that 10 years ago,
Hmm.
a little over 11, 12 years, this coin was nothing.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, People been holding this coin for a
Yep.
while. They
Yep.
didn't just get rich overnight.
Yep.
And they went through, I was looking at a chart earlier. I'll try to find it and send it to you.
Hmm.
I mean, Bitcoin did some serious reversals. You know what I mean? Like
Even
it was
last
at,
year, just
yeah,
last year.
man. It's like I think right after it halved or right around the time it halved,
Hmm.
like it went up to like $2,000 and then back down to like 100.
Hmm.
But people were holding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now
Yeah.
it's at this amount,
Hmm.
and people are like, "Man, I wish I would have known about it," or I would have got in it. But people, yet and still, man, people will uh invest in something, see it go red for 2 days and sell it.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you gotta be patient, man.
Yeah.
Just have to have a little bit of patience.
Yeah.
And I mean, I am not known for my patience, but the one thing that trading, even in traditional stocks, taught me
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
hold on,
Yep.
be patient,
Yep.
buy the dip.
Yep.
uh because every single one of my plays,
Hmm.
and this is where I started to learn this. Every
Hmm.
single one of my plays in traditional stocks,
Hmm.
where I said, I think this is going to be great. 2 months down the road, it's tanking, and
Hmm.
I'm like, I abandoned ship.
Hmm.
I'll use Roku as an example. Roku was like $70,
Hmm.
and it dropped down to like 60 or 50
Hmm.
like a month later.
Hmm.
And I sold it and it was like, I'm getting out of this, man. I'm losing money. And then I think 4, 5, 6 months later, Roku pops over like 100 and something dollars, doubles, and then it triples the amount that I had, and then it kind of pulls back.
Hmm.
Then the pandemic happens, and Roku shoots back through the roof again.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I was like, man, I should have just held on the Roku from the beginning.
Yeah.
I had a lot of shares of that, so that taught me, man, hey, just
Yeah.
trust your play.
I
There
I've
are
got
Rokus in everybody's house.
I've got a story for you too. This was a couple decades ago, when I was just getting really into investing in stocks. Before I had done some research and learned about, now I use Warren Buffett's strategy of
Hmm.
picking the losers, who the masses think are the losers, but who are the winners just having a bad turnaround.
Yep.
So I got in, and he's not known for getting in on IPOs. So, me being, young and, ambitious, a little bit of a risk taker, I got in on Netflix on an IPO,
Hmm.
right? So then Netflix does the dumb thing when they split the streaming from the DVD service into two
Hmm.
separate lines of business, and then everybody's hating on them. and the stock tanks. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And instead of recognizing that this was a hiccup and that with all of the negative backlash, they would put it back together and continue as business as usual, I sold it.
Yeah.
And then look where it is now. And the thing is, the lesson that I learned there is, of course, after reading Warren Buffett's book was, you know, is the mistake that caused the stock to drop a fatal catastrophic mistake? If it's something that they can recover from, hold on to the stock and let it play out. And
Very
like you
rarely
said,
is it a fatal
yeah,
mistake.
and
I
like you
mean,
said, buy the dip.
yeah, and companies. Another thing I think people don't know: before they were public,
Hmm.
they were private companies for a
Yep.
long time, and they
Yep.
made a lot of mistakes,
Yep.
and they worked through it, and they
Yep.
got stuff figured out. And I think people think that these, when a company IPOs, they're just brand new,
Hmm.
and it's like, no, they've been around, they've had their
Yeah.
problems. Yeah, Netflix finished at 508.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I mean, even I jumped out of Netflix recently, kicking myself a little bit. Uh, but yeah, so I just think, a little bit of patience. And
Hmm.
I too did, I read one of Buffett's books,
Hmm.
and there are some things that I did take out of it,
Hmm.
and I kind of combine. I'm more of a fundamental investor,
Hmm.
um, but I do use technicals sometimes
Hmm.
in my fundamental stuff. But
Hmm.
you know, I'm more or less looking at the company and
Yeah.
what I think they can
Yeah.
do and how it applies to the future. And we've talked about
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
And if I feel that there is a space for that company in the
Hmm.
future or what they're doing,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter the price.
Yeah.
And I think people need to get over that. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter the price,
Hmm.
buy it and hold it.
And especially now with these different investment vehicles that allow you to buy percentages of a stock, you
Yeah,
didn't
frac,
have that
yeah.
before. So I can see somebody's like looking at, Apple, looking at Amazon, looking at Tesla, and still see upside, but they're like, I don't have hundreds of dollars to just drop on one share. I can
Yeah.
see that. But like, even if you bring it back to the crypto space, everybody, the question is, well, what can I do? I missed the boat on Bitcoin. It's 55,000. You're
Yeah.
not trying to buy one Bitcoin. You just want to ride the wave.
Right. Yeah. And I think people, the fractional investing that you're talking about,
Hmm.
like I was surprised that a lot of people didn't know that you could buy just a piece.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
even in traditional investing and in crypto, you can
Hmm.
buy a piece,
Hmm.
and your little $5 investment could be 15 or 20
Yep.
in a week. And that's money you didn't have. And so
That's
when
serious.
they allowed people to start doing fractional investing, I said there is no reason to have a savings account, really. I mean, you have a savings account, cool, but
Hmm.
now you got $25 sitting in your account.
Hmm.
Put the $25 to work.
Hmm.
Why? It doesn't matter. Put your $25 in Bitcoin,
Hmm.
ride the wave. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
As Bitcoin goes from 50 to 100,000,
Hmm.
that equity that you put in at 50,000,
Hmm.
whatever you put in is going to
Hmm.
double.
Yep.
So, I mean, you know, if you put $25 in Bitcoin, it's going to be $50.
Yep.
Still more money than you had.
Yep.
And it's more than leaving it in a 1% yield
Hmm.
for a year as
Yeah.
in a savings account or something. But
And that's the thing that I try to tell people too. There's nothing wrong with, okay, Bitcoin is gonna double in a year. And that's what people are expecting. By the end of this year, Bitcoin will be at least at 100,000. So there's nothing wrong with doubling, but we both know of coins that do that in a month, that do
yeah,
that in 3 months.
we,
And
we,
that's,
there's no coins to do that in 3 days.
yeah. So that's the thing is again building what we call a crypto portfolio, where
Right,
you have it where Bitcoin would be the value stock, right?
right.
The one that the sure bet where or I know I'm gonna double whatever my percentage is from Bitcoin, from Ethereum, because those are the stable coins. Those are the ones, not stable coin, but it is the they're the apples, they're
Yeah, they're the leaders. They're the
yeah.
Googles.
So
You know.
then Then you have your others, which are a little bit more speculative, which you don't want to have a big percentage of your
Correct.
portfolio. But
Yeah.
if you again research and what is the use case, who's the team behind it, what have they done, or what were their fields of interest in the past, then you can say, okay, I want to put a small percentage in here and see what happens. And
Right.
you can 10x, 50x, even 100x in
Hmm.
less than a year. So,
And one thing that that I recently found out, probably it's maybe about 2-3 months ago,
mhm,
I started learning about proof of stake coins,
mhm, mhm.
and I stumbled across a couple, and I was like, okay, so let me get this straight. I put my money in here, and every day they pay me
Mhm,
a coin or a fraction of a coin
mhm.
back
Yep.
for keeping my money here.
Yep.
And that fraction of a coin is worth money.
Yep.
So, and then that fraction of the coin
Mhm.
then grows.
Yep.
So I was like, this is a no brainer.
Yeah.
Like, this is making it like it's a no brainer to me. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, seeing that in the stock market, what that looks like is, you have a drip, right? A
Mhm.
dividend
Yeah.
reinvestment,
Yeah.
but that dividend only comes, you know, once a quarter
Yeah.
or, whatever. You get that little,
Yeah.
chump change of whatever it is,
Mhm.
and then it reinvests in, and then
Yeah.
you build more equity that way. I'm talking about that, but hyper,
Yep.
like in a more compressed.
Yeah.
There are people living off of that investment right
Yep.
now, that type
Yep.
of investment.
Yep. I have a couple of friends doing just that, and that's why it blew my mind. My friend told me about it back last summer, and
Oh
I
man.
was like, hold the phone.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
hold the phone. Like
Yeah.
you're telling me I can deposit my crypto in this account in this exchange, and they'll
Hmm.
reward me interest of more
Yep.
crypto.
Yeah.
And
That's
it,
better. That's a better investment
yeah,
vehicle than anything I think I can see. I mean,
yeah.
it's like, people put money in CDs, they put
Hmm.
money in stuff, and that money is locked up,
Yep.
and you're only going to get so much.
Yep.
And then here's crypto over here, like, hey, I'll compound
Hmm.
every day.
Yep. Plus appreciate in value.
plus appreciating value. And people are like, I don't trust that. I don't really trust that. And to me, I was like, this, I need to put more money over here. What am I doing? And so, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
Yeah.
the thing about it is the reason because people are suspicious about it, and of course, you do have to be careful which exchange and which platform you do it in,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
some of them, it's not even that the exchange might not last long. Is there's fine print as to what they're going to do with your funds. Some
Hmm.
allow you and give you voting rights for their exchange because you're staking your money
Yeah.
in their fund, right? So you want to know what voting rights you're going to get, and then how much money do you have to put up to get voting rights. So you
Right.
might come in there thinking you're getting voting rights. They're like, you don't merit voting rights. Your percentage is not high enough,
Right.
right? So there is some research you have to do behind it. You're not just going to go to us. Oh, you guys stake here. Here's my money, right? The whole thing of this is it's competitive, and that's the
Yeah.
reason why the yields are so high. There
Yep.
was one at a point they were giving over 100% APY in one day per day, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't last long because they couldn't keep that going. Too many people flooded it. They actually thought that word wouldn't get out.
Yeah.
But there was so many people coming in, they couldn't keep it going. But my main point is that um, there this is so new that they have to attract the public. This is the
Yeah.
incentives that they're putting out there to attract the money, right? And
Yeah.
the best way to attract money is to offer more money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I think I've read somewhere that eventually those yields on the
Hmm.
coins, once they become established,
Hmm.
will kind of lower
Hmm.
down.
Hmm.
But man, take advantage.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, there's a guy, heard a story about a guy who that's I mean, I don't advise this, but
Mm-hmm.
I think he dropped his savings, like $90,000
Mm-hmm.
into one of these proof of stake coins
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the guy now is making more money than he did in his corporate world job
Mm-hmm.
monthly
Yeah.
because the coin appreciated.
Appreciated. Yep.
He probably got in there at 20 cents and then
Mm-hmm.
that thing went up to like $20 or $25. So not only does he not need to pull his money out
Yeah.
because he's making enough to cash out and live,
Yeah. Just off his
uh
taking rewards.
yeah, he can live and still have his initial investment
Yeah.
as up in the clouds. But I man, there's a lot of benefit there.
And
you
that's the
know
thing, is the creativity, and that's the thing that you said. These rewards are not going to be here. I don't believe they're going to be here a year from now.
yeah.
Other people are going to try to do it, but it's also the one-upmanship of these projects. They're
Hmm.
getting creative in how they reward people for participating. Like I
Right.
recently posted about this platform. It's sort of Polkadot platform. They work on the Ethereum blockchain.
Hmm.
So they have a bunch of projects that come through Polkadot. And in order to attract people to these projects, they did a lot of staking. So now they've gotten away from staking and they're creating, now they're getting into the whole NFT space.
Hmm.
So one of their branch off projects is called Polka Starter. So
Hmm.
Polka Starter is basically a venture capital version, but on the blockchain. But the venture capital is the pool of money from the community who wants
Hmm.
to see a project succeed. So project developers come to Polka Starter and pitch their product, their idea to the community in Polka Starter, and people just say, "I want to support this one. I want to support that one." Well, if you
Hmm.
want to
Like a
support it,
crowd fund.
yeah, put your money up, right?
Yeah.
So if you put your money up, then there's going to be special rewards to you for putting your money up. So one
Yeah.
of these companies, they mimic the Pokemon and they call it Pokeamon off a Poker Starter. And they're
Hmm.
giving out NFTs that look like baby dragons, kind of like Pokemon animals. So
Hmm.
the dragon hatches out of the shell, and that dragon is now an animated NFT.
Right.
So anyone who comes in and shows that they have some of the Poker Starter coin, they get the free egg NFT just for being part of the
Oh, I saw that. You
community.
sent that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're gonna send the code to hatch the eggs, because you just get the egg right now. Next week the eggs are gonna hatch, and a
Yeah.
certain amount of those dragons are gonna be golden dragons, and they're gonna be worth thousands of dollars on the NFT market space.
And it cracks me up, man, because people are like, that's so, I don't understand it. That's so weird. That's so goofy, and man, I try really hard. I don't know if you saw on my Facebook the other day, I was trying to liken it to the Jay-Z baseball card that
Hmm. Hmm.
they recently sold,
Yeah.
right? And I said, hey, if you don't understand NFTs, but you can understand, like, you have those old tops
Yeah.
cards or
Yep.
rookie cards of LeBron James,
Yep.
that is worth money, right? Like a
Yep.
rookie card, it's a rare thing.
Yep.
It's the same thing but digital, and people are like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
like I'm like, it's the same thing but digital. And then one thing I thought was funny, and somebody brought this up, and I thought it was a good point. Somebody was like, I could just take a picture of anything
Hmm.
and say, you know, it's art or it's
Hmm.
this or that, and that's true. But I heard one guy who was talking about NFTs one day, and he said, all right, so you can go to the Louvre
Hmm.
and take a picture of the Mona Lisa,
Yep.
but it doesn't mean you have the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what people don't understand is these are actual authentic certified
Yep.
NFTs from whoever, like
Yeah.
that artist that just published his in
People.
I think 20, yeah.
People. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The This isn't like some random kid. This is a
Yeah.
person who actually is an artist,
Yeah.
you know. And people gotta man, NFTs, it makes sense to me, but man,
Yeah.
it does not
My
make sense to
my
everybody.
my thing, the thing I just tell people is that it's a collectible. It's a
Yeah.
collectible. It's a digital collectible. Some of them are animated because it is digital. You can animate it, but
Hmm.
many of them are just images, right?
Right.
So just like the one that's blowing up right now is the NBA highlights. So NBA Top
Hmm.
Shot, they partnered with a blockchain company to digitize basketball highlights and then sell it on the marketplace. So
Right.
people are like, well, I can get that highlight off of YouTube. Yes, you can, but it's not coded in blockchain.
and
It's
and
not coded in blockchain. It has no value.
right. And it also, I think what people miss is like, who's the original owner?
Yep.
Like when you go on a Google and you take a picture, there's an original owner there somewhere,
Yeah.
right? And when who was the name of what was the name of the company that partnered top top
Well,
something you said?
Dapper Labs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're going to the people who actually are filming,
Hmm.
and doing the NBA highlights and stuff.
Hmm.
These are people that actually own the
Hmm.
property,
Yeah.
and it's like as if you were in the 50s or 60s and you would go get the actual film.
Yeah.
Like you're getting that is your property.
Yeah.
Now you can go back later and that property is worth whatever amount of money,
Hmm.
and you could sell it on eBay.
Hmm.
Well, it's the same thing on the marketplace like OpenSea or whatever.
Hmm.
You have a collectible, you've held it for a while, maybe you are in a pinch and you need money.
Hmm.
You now transfer that to somebody else
Yep.
for exchange for a currency.
Hmm.
And I think what people don't understand is this is why blockchain is so important. The chain of custody is kept,
Yep.
so you can trace it all the way back to the original
Yep.
owner.
Yep.
It's no different than certifying, some work of art,
Yep. A
some
stock.
archaeological dig that you pulled out and they did carbon dating and all that. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So
And the thing that makes it even more appealing is that, let's say I have a piece of art that I have a friend who's an artist, and I bought his paintings. I commissioned three different paintings from him. So if I sell you one of his paintings, he
mhm,
sold it to me for $50. I sell it to you for $100.
mhm,
That profit that I made is all mine.
right,
But now with the blockchain technology, there are actual marketplaces that every time an artist's piece sells, a certain percentage goes back to the artist. So they're
right.
getting royalties off of their artwork.
Oh
So
yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't happen in the physical world in with regular artwork.
I think Jim Jones, the
Hmm.
rapper,
Hmm.
people probably are like, what is, Jim Jones has dropped a hit and whatever.
Hmm.
I recently saw an interview with him where he
Hmm.
said he did an NFT like last year or a year before. He was like,
Yep.
I really didn't understand it, but I just did it.
Hmm.
And he said every time my thing sells, like he said,
Yep.
he's getting a percentage of it.
Hmm.
And that's why I say, man, your favorite wealthy people, man, they're not they like Jim Jones is gonna talk about NFTs now because it's a thing.
Yeah.
But he didn't really understand it. He just knew, that seems okay. I'll try that.
Yep.
They came over. I trust these guys.
Yep.
And that's why I say your favorite millionaires aren't talking about it. And they're
Hmm.
not talking about it because they don't fully understand it, just like you,
Yep.
but they understand making money. So
Yep. And you talk to people, what are all of the influencers who are big time doing right now? They're gaining ownership,
yeah.
whether it's ownership of their name, whether it's ownership of their music, whether it's ownership of their face. It's all about ownership. And that's what NFTs gives you. Whether you're the one who creates it or you're the one who buys it, it gives you ownership.
And you think about NFTs, and I was thinking about this the other day.
Mhm.
It If you think about NFTs in the space of like SoundCloud or anything else, like
Mhm.
imagine being, an Alicia Keys
Mhm.
and you publish an album and you only distribute 10,
Mhm.
right? Well, sure, people are going to hear those songs.
Mhm.
That's fine. But the artist actually published it and gave it to you. So that will be worth, that's an asset.
Yeah.
It's like her giving something to you directly. I'm waiting for that to happen, and then I'm waiting for and this is already starting to transpire. You're able to physically have assets like the deed to your house,
Mm-hmm.
the pink slip to your car. These are
Mm-hmm.
all now becoming digitized.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand that, well, you go online and you sign a document that
Mm-hmm.
you never even see the paper.
Yep.
You never even touch it.
Yep.
And imagine that, 40 years ago, people would
Yeah.
have been like, what? You want me to, is
Yeah.
this even real? Yeah.
MSNBC just interviewed the CEO of DocuSign, and he was talking about the upgrades they're doing to their service, and because it's going to continue,
Right.
it's going to continue, it's going to evolve.
Nobody needs to physically sign anything
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. My
I mean,
parents just moved to Florida. And they're asking me where's the nearest post office. I said, why? Why?
that's just because that's the era they come from.
Yeah.
But I just, man, just like my car that I recently got last year,
Mm,
I I didn't sign a single piece of physical paper,
mm.
and it blew my mind because I sat there. You sit there with the finance manager,
Mhm.
and he had this giant iPad desk thing,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, go ahead and sign. And he told my wife, pick up the pen.
Mhm.
He loads something up on the
Mhm.
screen, and we're just signing on the screen. And then he goes, would you like a copy of your documents, or would you like an email to you?
Mhm.
And I'm like, man, remember the days of, remember when you walked out of a dealership with a
Yep.
packet of paper like that thick? Those days gone,
Yep.
gone. And yet people can't understand
Yeah.
NFTs. it's it's like, get with the program, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents, but I get it. It's
Yeah.
not for everybody.
I mean, my thing is to bring it back to what we were talking about before is, so somebody's interested in this stuff. They're interested in blockchain technology. They're interested in crypto, even in stock investing, because we still have a lot of people in the community who still don't own their own stocks. Maybe their only exposure to stocks is their 401k,
Yeah,
right?
that's sad.
So my thing is that the question, of course, people are intimidated just on how to get started.
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
and 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 for me, it's all about the network. It's all about the network.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is doing it.
Yeah.
Someone is investing in stocks successfully. Someone is investing in crypto successfully. Someone
Mm-hmm.
has bought an NFT.
Yep.
You have to have those conversations.
That's true.
You have
And I
to have
mean,
those conversations.
as much as, me and you, we go back and forth about Robinhood,
Hmm.
they've made it so easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, download the app. It's a great
Hmm.
place to, like, I would call Robinhood the great place to start.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you could make money on Robinhood, and it's
Hmm.
great. And then it becomes thing the way Robinhood operates you may not like.
Yeah.
But by then you figured out how to invest, and you can move to
Yeah.
another brokerage.
Yeah. Yeah.
But man, and then I told, like, when my wife and people are like, what do I invest in?
Hmm.
I read this book a while back, and I'll think of it here in just a second. But
Hmm.
whatever's in your house,
Hmm.
invest in that.
Yeah.
If you have a bunch of Johnson and Johnson soap,
Hmm.
invest in that. If you go to
Hmm.
Target every Sunday like they do around here,
Hmm.
why aren't you investing in Target? If you're
Hmm.
spending money at a place, if you're going
Hmm.
to Costco,
Hmm.
same thing.
Hmm.
So, like, I think people, it's just a mysterious thing for certain people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be mysterious, very
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
Open an account, invest in the things that you spend money there,
Yeah.
and earn some money back.
Yep. Yep.
If you,
And then the next level of that is to start asking questions. Well, where are other people spending their money? And once you
right,
start
right.
looking, you start asking that question, then now a whole bunch of a new list pops up,
Mm-hmm.
and your journey can continue on from there. And that the thing is, for me, is again, be curious, because
Yeah.
we're wasting our time with these menial things. And you hear, like, again, what are the wealthy people doing, right? They spend their time networking. They spend their time, like you said, playing golf. They spend
Yeah.
it, what are they doing? They're researching. They're
Yeah.
researching the next
Or,
opportunity.
or they have a team of people doing it for
Yep.
them.
And the thing
Yeah.
that they're not doing is they're not watching TV. How many times do you watch an interview with somebody successful and they're like, I don't watch TV?
Yeah.
They're
They don't.
researching, they're reading, they're networking.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like Kevin O'Leary,
Mhm,
like I want to say 4 years ago,
mhm,
said he would never invest in cryptocurrency.
mhm.
I just saw Kevin O'Leary
Yep,
like 2 months ago.
yep.
Like, yeah, I'm just gonna have to invest in, you know, because he probably watched a few peers pass him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Profits speak for themselves. As much as
Yeah.
people hate on crypto, and for whatever reason, the reason, like you say, people can't wrap their head around NFTs. I can't understand how people in the financial world and the investment world, at least before this year and last year, were so against Bitcoin, because I don't know if for them it was competition that they never wanted to see um get its recognition or its due, or it's like, if you're saying Bitcoin can never be valid because it'll never be a true currency. I was just talking to another guy on the team about this, is that our money right now, the American dollar, is not backed by gold. What backs the American dollar is people's trust that
Hmm.
American government and the Federal Reserve can pay up. That fades and blows into thin air the moment China calls in its debt, and this moment the other countries, the major countries in this world, decide to stop using the U.S.
The dollar.
dollar as their
Yeah.
foundation.
So what people, and to even simplify it further, is you can go anywhere in the world right now and spend
Mm-hmm.
a US dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes a currency is its utility
Yep.
across the world.
Yeah.
You can spend Bitcoin in, I forget how many countries it is now.
Mm-hmm.
They accept it as a
Mm-hmm.
form of payment. It's accepted in this country. And the more you see adoption,
Mm-hmm.
the more you will see the utility
Yep.
of that coin.
Yep.
And so people need to back out of the whole currency thing and
Mm-hmm.
think long and hard. It's just what you said.
Mm-hmm.
The dollar is accepted.
Mm-hmm.
It's backed by the government. It's not backed by any kind of commodity. In fact, they said it's illegal to own gold at one point. I think it
Yeah.
was like FDR.
Yeah.
So like it's basically saying, hey, this is a promissory note, or
Mm-hmm.
it's a promise pay,
Mm-hmm.
it's a note
Yep.
backed by the US government.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right about China's debt. And that's a whole nother conversation, because I don't think people, I was talking to a friend and I said, if you don't think China doesn't own these roads, these freeways, these toll roads,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I was just in Vegas last weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and the cab driver told me China bought 6 hotels on the strip,
Wow.
$6 billion.
That reminds me back when they talk about when Japan went on a shopping spree
Mm-hmm.
back in the 80s. They were buying up
Yeah.
skyscrapers.
And here you go, man. You know, you're off gambling in a casino, not even knowing that, man. You're just
The house,
blowing
the house
China.
just changed owners.
Yeah, and China's economy before pandemic, China's economy was like on like a global
Yep.
GDP or something like that,
Yep.
to beat us in like 10 years, and
Yep.
I think the pandemic probably shortened it by like at least like four.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a distraction that worked in their benefit. Their economy was overheated. It started to peter out a little bit.
Yeah,
It got a reset, and they're coming back strong.
yeah,
They're coming back strong.
yeah. We're not in a good position.
And
And
that's
all
the
our
thing.
bonds,
Hmm.
when people spend their stimulus check, just know your stimulus is actually a bond,
Hmm.
and the bond is packaged up and sold
Hmm.
around the world. So the
Hmm.
world owns your debt.
Hmm.
And you can find this doing any kind of research, the
Hmm.
first stimulus was like our tax money.
Hmm.
But as you, if you, when people think it's just free money, it's not really free money.
Yeah.
It's a bond
Hmm.
packaged up and sold into pieces across the world, and that's why the world owns our debt.
Yep. And they said that Biden is thinking about doing another round.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, man, and then this is all economics, and I think
Hmm.
just people just need to. They don't. I don't think they really teach that in school anymore. But this is all stuff I researched and Googled, and took the time to figure out, because I said, where does this money come from?
Hmm.
Like, you see a lot of stuff on Facebook,
Yeah.
but I don't trust. I don't trust that. So I'm like, all right, okay, how does a stimulus, like, where does that money come from? Okay, did they
Hmm.
just print it out of thin air? Oh no, they basically package it up as a bond. And then if you know anything about bonds, then you understand that a bond is, debt, and it's
Just
paid
like
back
back,
with interest.
I remember they talked about back in World War II when they were trying to raise money for the war effort. They asked people and encouraged people to buy the government bonds
Bonds.
to help fund the war effort.
Yeah.
So this is exactly that. And this time, instead of asking us, because we need the money for ourselves, you can't ask us to buy the
Yeah, I
bonds.
gotta ask somebody else. Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, but yeah, I mean, this was a this was a good chat, man. I
Yeah,
really appreciate you bringing me on.
yeah.
Um, Maybe we could turn this into like a
A
weekly
recurring thing.
thing,
Yeah,
a recurring theme.
yeah.
Get hyper focused on some things, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I'd
maybe.
like to talk about, some of the platforms you use. I know we're
Yeah,
always sharing some different information. You have your way of researching. I have my way of researching. I'd love
yeah,
to talk about some of that stuff so we could just share that with the community. And
yeah.
again, um one of my goals is I'm not trying to be the answer for anybody. I just
Right.
want to help people think in certain directions, peak
Hmm.
interest in certain directions so that, like you said, go and Google it. Go and find
Yeah,
out for yourself. Do some research, and then hopefully you can contribute to the conversation.
yeah. And never believe like me or Jiz or anybody. You take it and go, okay, I got a nugget. Let me go do my own research.
Hmm.
But like, even me, I'll find something. I'll send it to Jiz.
Hmm.
We'll talk about it.
Hmm.
Makes sense. Okay. And I have a network of people
Hmm.
like that
Hmm.
for stocks, and I
Hmm.
have a network of people like that for crypto.
Hmm.
And bounce it off your network of people you trust, that are out there doing the same due diligence you are.
Yeah.
And like, that's the only way you're gonna really, I think, succeed. You could succeed by yourself, but it's great
Mhm.
to have a community of people
Yeah.
to say, hey, and we see what a community of people can do, like Wall
Yeah.
Street Bets.
Yeah.
A community of people they beat a couple of hedge funds up, hit them with
Yeah.
a few uppercuts.
Yeah.
Just all by everybody saying, hey, let's get together and do this. I'm
Yeah.
not advocating what they did or anything.
Hmm.
I'm just saying a community of people smart people can really help each other to become wealthy.
Yep.
So
Yep. And that's the thing is I just call it crowdsourcing.
yeah,
Crowdsource, get your network and crowdsource investing.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it at the end of the day.
So all right, man, you got anything else for me?
No, that's it. I mean, it is a great conversation. I hope this is, like you said, the start of something. We can come back periodically and share some more with the community, and let's see what feedback we get. I'm gonna post this on our Facebook group, and I'll
Cool.
send it to you. I know you have your marketplace and you have a podcast on there as well.
Yep.
I'm curious to see what feedback we get from this, and maybe we can use that for the next talk.
Yes, sir.
All right. So thank you again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, thanks. That's great.